clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Leah Fleischer, and with me tonight is star linebacker and defensive captain of the football team, Mike Stokovic. So we're going to get right into it, but let's, instead of starting with this season, talk a little about last season. Might not be your favorite topic. You guys went 1-10. How did that kind of weigh on your minds coming into this season?
It's definitely one of those things that it's kind of like the forgive and forget, or forgive but never forget saying. You know, it was tough, but also at the same time, I think it was kind of something our team needed. You know, we had Coach B coming in, new jerseys, but bottom line is it was the same players playing, so we had to take it upon ourselves this summer to get bigger, faster, stronger, and I think we've done that and trying to build back that Colonial tradition that's been set, you know, upon us before, and we got to build from there and get better every day.
All right, and then, but you do have some new faces. You talked about a lot of the same team members. Quarterback Matt Barr, for example, he's the first true freshman to ever start. Can you talk a little bit about him as a player?
Oh yeah, he's a stud. I mean, he can run, he can throw. He's a good leader, which, you know, from a freshman you don't exactly expect that, you know, being a young guy. But he was with us in the spring, which I think benefited him a lot. He's got a good grasp of the offense. I like to compare him to Marcus Mariota. I think they got similar playing styles, and you know, they kind of got the same look to him. But yeah, he's, you know, one of the leaders on the offense as a freshman, which is a good thing.
And you're one of the leaders on the defense. So can you talk a little bit about your role as a defensive captain? Like, what does that mean, and like, what kind of role does that have you take on in the team?
Just, you know, basic stuff. You know, helping the guys get lined up, making the call, whatever checks we have that week. You know, everyone knows their plays, which is obviously important, but just the little things. If someone motions, I gotta call it out and stuff like that, and try to keep up. You know, keep the guys motivated. Like last week, you know, it was obviously upsetting, you know, what happened, but we can't let it, you know, define our season. We got to build off of that. We had a good week defensively, and we had some good things going on the offense. We just got to get better.
Yeah, you guys did have a really good week. I remember at one point Kristen actually said the defense was on point. You guys held Dane to a lot of 3-and-outs the majority of the game. So can you talk a little bit more about your performance and like what kind of fueled that, whether it was stuff you were doing in practice or just game day?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Ferguson always has us ready, and you know, besides last year, he's usually had a great defense, and we have weapons all over the field, especially on defense. We got a great D-line, great core linebackers, great DBs, and you know, we all communicate well, which I think is the biggest difference from last year to this year. Is we're playing as one rather than, oh, I want to make this play. You know, if we're all going to do our responsibility, we're all going to make plays and have a good time.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. So obviously you guys played well, but didn't come out the way that you wanted. How are you guys going to use last week when you got so close, but then like just let it go as like a motivator for next week where you play a really good team?
You know, it's one of those things. We had a great first half and maybe let up a little bit in the second half, whether it be guys thinking that we had the game in the bag or whatever it may be, but just we got to have that killer instinct to us, and you know, when a team's down, we got to put them out and finish them, and that, you know, that comes from the defense. There's times where, you know, we had a couple mishaps, and we just can't let it happen because we pride ourselves on finding the football, making plays, and we have certain goals like 3-and-outs and stuff like that, and we got to, you know, capitalize on mistakes and do better.
Definitely. So what are your expectations for Youngstown next week?
It's going to be a fun game. You know, it's like I told the guys, whether they're nervous or whatever it may be, just to let it go. I mean, you want to play college football when you're a little kid thinking about it because you want to play in front of a bunch of fans. You know, it's going to be a fun atmosphere. It's a good team, and we got nothing to lose. I mean, Youngstown's probably not even worried about us, and that's the truth. And I mean, we got to come out and give them our best shot, and hopefully our best shot is good enough, and I think it will be.
Definitely. So for next week, is there anything about their offense that you're focusing on in particular and really telling your guys to focus on?
I mean, they have weapons. They're a good team. They have 2 good running backs, and which obviously we pride ourselves on being a good run defense. So hopefully we can stop the run. They got one good wide receiver that we hope to stop, and you know, we got a good game plan in place. And Coach Ferguson's real good at calling the plays, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck against Youngstown. next week. And unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you again, Mike, for coming on the show. Now back to you, Kristen and Ian.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
The men's soccer team headed into the weekend looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2007, and the only one standing in their way was the St. Peter's Peacocks. Could the Colonials do it? Down to the North Athletic Complex we go. And we're going to start off here 25 minutes into the first half. No score. Andrew Romero crosses right outside, and the Peacocks are going to try to corral it, but Carlos Cartana passes it to Ezekiel Say, draws out Alferi, and hits the wide open net, as you see there. And we're going to go back to the replay, as you see some fancy footwork there. Shoots the wide open net. Going into the second, Nico Brett breaks away from the defense, gets Jamie Clellan on one-on-one, but instead gives it to Lucas Pantillo. Shoots and scores, and it's going to be Pantillo's first goal of the year. And we're going to see some fancy footwork here coming up by Nico Brett. Look at that. Jumps in, left, right, passes behind, finds Pantillo on the wide open net. And just in case if you missed it the first time or the second time, here's an even cooler shot because he's going to pass it to Pantillo, and he hits the camera right behind the net. If that's not power, I don't know what is. And if 90 minutes of soccer wasn't enough for you, we're going to go into overtime. And with 9 minutes left, Nico Brett does it himself, gets the header, shoots, scores, and wins it for RMU. With the overtime goal, Nico Brett has now has 11 points on the season and increased his career totals to 34 goals and 80 points as a Colonial. Fellow teammate Lucas Pantillo also tallied 1 goal and an assist in the 2-1 victory, but Pantillo was just getting started on the weekend, which Ian will tell you more about in just a second.
The Colonials battered Eastern Illinois this past Sunday, coming off a thrilling overtime win against St. Peter's, which we just saw. On the line for RMU was their first 4-0 start in 20 seasons. Let's see how they fared.
Exciting. Can they go 5-0? Can they?
Can they? 10:55 left in the first. Nico Brett off the goalie's hands. And now another RMU opportunity. And now misplay from RMU leads to this goal by Eastern Illinois. Right past Brennan Alfrey for the first goal. And Eastern Illinois goes up 1-0. Another scoring chance. Mike Oliver right past Brandon Alfrey, right in front of the goal post. If you missed it the first time, here it is again. Right past, a sigh of relief for Alferi. Now here again, the goalie cam.
Boom. I
Right
bet
there,
you he probably
sigh
took
of relief.
Yeah, big sigh of relief
Second half.
after
Lucas Patillo gets the ball and he just shoots it, and he beats the EIU goalie here again, and now the game is now tied at uno, that being one.
Uno, you're gonna put some Spanish in here.
And there it is again, and he did the same thing that Alfrey did. The Latchford does Nico inches away from the goalpost, and now it is overtime. EIU looks for a goal. Bennett says no, but then EIU scores the winning goal, and he decides to take his clothes off in celebration. The Colonials were unable to move to 4-0 and fell to 3-1 on the season. Eastern Illinois moved to 2-2 on the year. Eastern Illinois' Mike Novotny finished with 7 saves, and teammate Tyler Oliver got the game-winning goal for the Panthers. Lucas Patillo got the lone goal for RMU following the match. Patillo earned NEC Rookie of the Week honors. Robert Morris takes on Marshall in their next match.
The women's soccer team started off the season a little rough after getting shut out in their first 3 games. The Colonials hoped to break the streak when they headed to Washington, D.C. to take on Howard. RMU had little success, though, as they fell to the Bison 3-2 in regulation. Robert Morris was able to hold Howard scoreless until the second half, where at not 1, not 2, but 3 different Bison were able to score. Coming off their 4th loss in a row, it just seems like the Colonials could not get any momentum.
Still looking for their first win of the season, the women's soccer team was on the road for a contest against Youngstown State. The game was close throughout, and RMU was able to leave with a 1-0 win. And Antonina Grease gave RMU the only goal of the game in the 34th minute, and goalie Chelsea DeJager earned the shutout in net.
The women's volleyball team was also very busy this weekend as they participated in the Rose Hills Classics in the Bronx, New York. RMU was able to start off the weekend strong as they defeated Georgetown 3-1 in their first game. Liz Campbell led overall in assists with 29, but it was Georgetown's Alyssa Sinetti who was impressive with 20 kills and 2 assists and 21 digs. And we go into the game 2. Here, Ian has more.
Colonials defeated the Purple Eagles of Niagara 3-0. Stat leaders RMU Arden Fisher 15 kills, 1 assist, 6 digs. Taylor Lord 9 kills, 1 assist, 10 digs. And Liz Campbell wraps things up with 24 assists, setting up her teammates and 10 digs.
You know, Arden Fisher having a very impressive weekend, doing very, very well. But then finally, in the final game of the weekend, the Colonials looked to sweep the Classic when they faced off against Fordham Friday. RMU defeated Fordham in just 3 sets for the victory. Liz Campbell continued to help their teammates out with another 24 assists to add on to her total on the weekend. And in the game, while Arden Fisher led the Colonials in kills with 15. RMU will travel next to New Mexico tomorrow to face off Mexico State in the Borderland Invitational.
A third Colonial picked up NEC honors this week. Liz Campbell, a freshman on the volleyball team, was honored with NEC Player of the Week as well as Rookie of the Week. She earned this honor with terrific play in the Rose Hill Classic this past weekend, where she was named the All-Tournament Team and Most Valuable Player overall. Campbell helped the Colonials go 3-0 in the Classic and finished with 29 assists against Georgetown, 24 assists against Niagara, and 28 assists against Fordham.
And just when you thought it was all over, we still have plenty of more for you. Ian, what do we have coming up?
The upcoming schedule,
which will be really exciting because you get the laydown of what's all coming up next, as well as everybody's favorite part of the show and the first one of the year.
Plays.
It's the Primetime Plays of the Week, coming up next.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And just in case if you missed it, here's all the primetime plays of the week. We're going to start off at number 5. It's going to be that blocked field goal from the Dayton game, as you saw earlier in the game, received by our in-studio guest and takes it and runs it right out of bounds. Real exciting. As we're going to go to number 4.
Number 4. It is the Brendan Alfrey save on this chip from EIU, right off his fingertips, right past the goal, and he saved the goal that could have put the Colonials down. 2-0.
Very exciting, and of course, got to be a primetime play as we get the third look here.
Right off his fingertips.
Number 3, it's gonna be the blocked punt from the football game. Takes out the punter, grabs it, runs it 10, 20 to 26 yards for the touchdown to put RMU up.
Number 2. Barr throws back, throws it to Lemika, jumps up, makes the catch for the Colonials. First touchdown of the game, and put the Colonials up 6-0 in the first touchdown of the season, which is a big mark. Nick Lemika jumps up, makes the catch. He does have hops.
And number 1 goes to the one and only Nico Brett for the goal!
Throwback Thursday.
Dante Verme with the call there. Not really. But Nico Brett, impressive header going into the net to give RMU the overtime win. And that is going to be this week's
Best Plays of the Week.
Primetime Plays of the Week. And the upcoming schedule.
Friday, September 11th, volleyball is at New Mexico State at 1 p.m. Eastern. Men's soccer travels to West Virginia to take on Marshall at 7:30 p.m. And volleyball is back at it Friday at UTEP with a 9 p.m. Eastern start time.
It's going to be really interesting to see the volleyball team here because they're going to be starting that new series coming in. And then you have, they're just coming off their 3-0 victory. They're sweeping that invitational. And they're coming in here going against New Mexico at 1, but then they have to come in at 9, which can be a little bit detrimental because it's a long distance away.
It's going to be about 7 hours in between the games, most likely, so we'll see.
And then you have men's soccer, who, although did lose their last game, Nico Brett, Pantillo coming off.
They're going to come out firing.
It's one game loss is fine, and they're going to come in here. And then going on to Saturday, we have women's volleyball again wrapping up that tournament. And you got women's soccer at Ohio, and then
that big football game we're all anticipating at Youngstown State at 7 p.m.
It's going to be really, really exciting to see how well they do there.
YSU's ranked in the FCS, number 17, so can they get a big win over a ranked team?
It'll definitely affect the rest of the season and see how they go. And then on Sunday, it's going to be men's soccer versus Bowling Green in West Virginia. And the last game, women's soccer.
Women's soccer against Canisius at 1 p.m.
And it's definitely going to be really, really exciting. And we're going to have all those and more for you next week on Colonial Sports Center. We'd like to thank everybody here who helped us make this show what it was today and all our special guests.
Figure it out. It's your hair.
I did get a haircut.
Figured it out.
That's what's different. Now everybody stay tuned for next week on Colonial Sports Center. Thanks for watching.